Why it is not getting? Great. Okay. So my friends, I hope this is the one. Okay, so today's topic is basically variable panel, or you can say variable. Okay, so I'll start my UiPath. Okay, I'll start my UiPath Studio. Okay. Okay. So I'm creating a process, and as I said, when we create a process, new project or something like this, from here we can create a process. So I'm creating a project over here. So first thing which we need to give is a name, then we'll give a description, then we'll see location, compatibility, and all. Okay, so we'll understand this by creating a new process, a blank project where we can create whatever we want to create. So I'll create it and I'll say variables. Okay, and I'm just gonna give it. Okay, location, I can choose my location, and we have created a folder. If we say we have created a folder over here, so I'll go to my D drive and there should be 2025 batch. Okay, and select it. Compatibilities will be Windows and language will be VB. So I'm going to create it. So now let me take you to this one just. Okay, variables. When we talk about variables, in today's lecture, what we want to discuss is what is variable. Okay, type of variables. Okay, what are the types of variable we have in UiPath basically? Okay, type of variables. Okay. Then we're gonna see global variables, how global variables are defined and all. Okay, in UiPath how the global variable will be defined, and then we will be creating scope of variable. Okay, I hope you all are familiar with variables and all. Okay, but I'll take you one by one. Okay, if you know, just listen to it and try to you know match your frequency with me. If you don't know, then focus over here. Okay, I would need your focus completely. Okay, so let's start with variable. Okay, so variable is nothing, you can understand variable is nothing but a container or a bucket which stores some value, right? Which stores some value. And if you are storing some value in a bucket or a container, what it needed, it says that, okay, whatever you're gonna store, please let me know in advance. Suppose you're gonna store water, so you would need that kind of bucket. Suppose you're gonna, you're gonna store stone, you need that kind of bucket. You're gonna store a hot iron, you're gonna need that kind of bucket. So that means whenever you are creating a variable, as I said, variable is nothing which stores some value. Either it can store like this, either it can store a name, either it can store a list, it can store anything, any object. Right. So variable is nothing. It's a bucket which holds the value. But before holding the value, before knowing that what you're going to store in that bucket, what you need is the type. Because I can't store my hot iron ball in a plastic bucket, or I can't store, you know, water if that is some net bucket. Right. So I need an actual type of bucket. So the type is important. What type of variable you are. So when we talk about variable, we have three things. We need to define three things. First is the name of variable. What will be the name of variable? So whenever you are creating a variable in variable pan from a variable panel, always remember either you can go for Pascal. Pascal means either you can, if I'm saying that full name, I'll give a full and then this capital, or I can give, I can give camel case like this. So whenever you are defining a variable, whenever you're creating a variable, you need three things, which is very important over here. Okay. There's the first one, which is the name of a variable. Variable can be two type. You can give two type of name. Either it can be a Pascal or camel case. The second thing which you need to give is when you are defining a variable will be scope. Now let's understand what is scope. Scope of a variable, which is very important. Scope of a variable. So if you have a code, section of code over here, some set of code over here, and you have defined a variable here, and you said, okay, the scope of variable is nothing. Suppose you have a container, then you have another container, then you have another container, you know, this container works as a child for this container, and these two container work as a child of this container. So when you say, I have defined a variable in this container, you know, I have defined the variable in container P, and this is P2, then this is C2, and I don't have any parent. So it can be C1, child one for this parent, and parent for this one. So when I say X variable is defined in the parent, the upper layer of UiPath parent, upper layout of the UiPath structure. So this variable will be usable, accessible, or whatever you can say, it will be visible to these two childs also. This is called scoping. Right? If you say you have created one variable, a variable, and this variable is defined over here only, now when my code goes from this to then this to this A will be accessible. But when I come out of this container, this A won't be accessible. It will be not visible over here. This is called scope. You have to define scope till which layer your variable will be visible. When I say, okay, my whole, this variable will be visible to my entire class, we can say the local variable. This is entirely the local variable. Okay. This is kind of a private variable that, okay, this will be visible only in this function or in this container. So when I say the first thing is which when you talk about variable, this is name, then it will be scope. If you are not able to understand scope over here, don't worry about it. You will. Okay. So first thing is name, second is scope. And the third thing, which is important over here is, as I said, type of the variable. What is the type of a variable? You're going to store some values, but you need to define that, okay, this is the type of variable which I'm going to store in it. Either the type can be, date, either the type can be a string, either the type can be any type, primitive, non-primitive, depend on what kind of variable you are using it over there. Okay, Satish, all good?
Yeah, good sir.
Am I repeating anything which you know already? Means definitely, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
you're aware of scope and all also, right?
Ah, yes, yes.
Great,
No.
great. See, we know everything, right? Name, scope, and type, and all. Okay, but in UiPath, if I say, okay, there is an object and there is a, how to, like, I can tell you that, okay, when you are creating a variable, you have to give the variable, but how to give the variable, that we will see over here. Okay, now you can relate it over here. Let's open the main bit workflow. This is my project in UiPath. This is called variable panel. You have to just click over here. You will see the variable. Now I have various method of creating variable. First, let's go with the basic one. We can create it with the right click somewhere, right click and then create a variable right like that. We can create a variable from variable panel. This is called a variable panel. We can create it from variable panel, or we can create with the shortcut key control K. Okay. So let's create with the basic one. The first method is a basic one. We'll create it from here. Okay. Okay. So let's go to this one. We'll click on create variable. I clicked over there. Now I want to create first name. So I'll give first name. Okay. And I'll enter it. Second thing is what you need to give is variable type. Okay. What kind of variable it is? When I talk about variable type, I have few types in UiPath variable. Okay. few types in UiPath, variable type. So we have variables. So now variable can be defined in two types. One is primitive and another is non-primitive. In my every lecture, I say it's like fundamental units, and the second one is driven. Driven means these are derived from the fundamental. It's like physics, right? Fundamental and driven. Okay. So in primitive variable, mostly you will be creating variables which store the single values. Like to store text, you will have str string, basically string variable, string type. To store, number, you will have int, integer. To store you know kind of a decimal type number, you will have float or you will have double. To store true and false, you will have boolean. So we have different type of primitive variable. Non-primitive variable, when I come to the non-primitive variable, we have list, anything which store more than one value, we call it non-primitive. So if I say list, so it will ask me what type of list. I'll say, okay, list of a string. So this is nothing but a collection of strings. So I am using one string over here. Suppose I'm using T1 over here, S1 over here as my variable name. So here, this will be S1, this will be entire S, and then it will have S1, comma S2, comma S3, comma S4 like this. So I can say this is non-primitive, which were driven from here. So if I collect S1, S2, S3, S4, creating 5, 6 variables and putting in one type, we get a list. Then we can have array. Then we can have dictionary. Definitely, we're gonna use these in our project later, right? We can have multiple type of projects. Any variable which will have a collection of data, we call it non-primitive. Okay, so let's go over here. Now, second thing is whether my name will be a single digit, single unit, sorry, single value or multiple value. So this will be, I'm saying that first name is a user's first name, not first names of a class or like something. So I'm saying that, okay, fine, I will have a normal string. I can take it as a normal string. I can change it. Okay. And if you think that, okay, you are not able to find, so suppose you want to make I'll give you another variable when we will be creating. Okay. So this is my variable type. Now when I talk about scope, right now I have only one layer over here in my main, only one layer over here. How to see that one? I have this outline. Now you can see if you open this main, you don't have anything. But if I put a container, we have a sequence container here. Container means this is nothing, but you can say it's just a container, no use. It just, you can make it like this. It's a container. Doesn't matter if your x is equal to 5 is written like this or your x is equal to 5 is written like this. Only matters is the scope. You are creating a boundary around this code. Okay, this is, think it like this. So how to see that layers, outlines. So you will find it in outline. Now, if I open this main and I can see this outline. Now I have a sequence. If I change the name, how to change the name? You can go to property panel, click on anything, go to property panel. This is called display name. You can change it. I'll say that, okay, first scope or personal informations. Simple. Now, if I go over here in the outline again, I can see this is the structure. If I have another sequence below this, and I say professional information, now in the outline, I can see there are two different scopes. Okay, there are two different scopes, personal and professional. Now I have first name created. This is created over here. Now, when I go to scope and I open it, I can see professional inside this also. When I save it, now let's go over here. I can see professional. I can make personal or I can make professional. So when I click on personal, let's click, I can see personal. So it depends on, where this thing will be visible. If I keep it like main sequence, because this is my main sequence means one by one. So this is my main sequence, main file. I'm saying that, okay, this will be, if I have this in main sequence, as I said, these two are inside main sequence. If I close this one, these are inside main sequence. So if I say that this first name will be visible in main sequence, that means it will be accessible in personal information also. It will be accessible in this also. But if I make this one professional information, now if I go over here, I can't see that variable in variable panel. If I go over here, I can see that in my variable panel. These things maybe right now it seems like, okay, these are very minute things, but I'll tell you, these kind of mistakes people do a lot. People do a lot. Now I can see this variable panel. I'll store it, save it. I can see this variable panel, this variable in my variable panel. Even I click on anywhere. I click here, I click here, I can see both. Okay. So these are the one thing, variable panel. Okay. Now let's talk about another variable. Let's how to create another variable. So if I'm creating another variable, suppose I want to create marks, okay, or marks, um, final marks, something like, or final marks, right? How many marks I got it. So I'm trying to create a marks, and marks can be 77.5, the final, the exact marks. I can have 77.5 or something like this. It's a kind of percentage, but in a normal, not with the without the percentage sign, it's just a percentage. So I can have this one. It can't be integer. 77.5 is not an integer, as I said. For that, I have float or double. So float is for smaller value, double is for the bigger value, larger value, right? So I'm trying to create the double, but I can't find double over here. So what I can do is I can click on this browse for type. I will get this type of wizard. What I need to do is I need to write double. Okay. Now it will give you, because as double is a class of system namespace, so I have to give system dot double, and I'll get it. And just double click on this. Now it will be in this project, this will be visible or added to this, kind of this annotation. It will be added over here. So you can create it as a double. Now where I want to give it, I want to give it in main sequence. I'm using it in main sequence, so I'll keep the main sequence. Now what I can do is I can create a third one, salary. Okay. And now this is, I'm creating salary can be double. I'm creating on this, I click on this double. And now let's create it. I don't want it to be in this one. I'll click on the professional. Okay. I can't see this one. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Final marks. Why I can see. Did I make personal of this one? No. Let's take to main. First, you need to take it to main. And then from main, you can convert this type as a professional information. Done. So I have three things, right? Now, if I want to create fourth one, suppose I want to create the documents or to create a variable that, okay, which holds the document, or create a variable which holds kind of, can say it holds some list information. Okay, so I can create it over there. But let's talk about this one right now. Now, you have, as I said, you have methods to create your variable. You have different methods to create a variable. Now let's talk about global variable, how to create a global variable, and what is a global variable. Okay. So till now, if anyone has any doubt related to variable panel or variable, please let me know. If you don't have, then we can move ahead. Satish, all good?
Actually, I have a doubt about the main sequence and personal information.
Mm-hmm.
One of the three. Uh, Please go to the previous menu. Yeah.
Where? Yeah, over here, Satish.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Uh, Actually, it is the tree of the structure in
Uh-huh.
RF in the model.
Uh, Outline. Yes, this is the modern one. This is the modern. We are using modern.
Okay.
We are using
And
the latest one because we don't have anything in means we don't have classic over here. Now it's this is completely converted to modern structure.
oh, okay, fine.
Yes. You can say that the classic is out of line now. From 2025, they will be using modern everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
uh, so it's which type of the information to given into the separate models in personal information and professional information. So, what type of the uh, content will given to that two of the arguments?
Okay.
So, two of the trees. Yeah.
Two of this one. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So now suppose I have, as you say, if I go to professional, right? If I go to personal, let's make this first one, first name as a personal information. Okay. Final marks will be personal information. Okay. Let's take some professional information. These are personal information like your home, city, your father's name, mother's name will be in the personal information. And if I go to professional information, I can see this variable. So what I want to make over here is I have personal information, professional information. I just want to create a list or create variables where these information will be visible. Okay, a layer, basically a protection layer around all these variables that okay, these variable will be accessible in this scope only, and you can use these variable over here only.
Fine, fine,
Okay,
fine.
Nikhil?
Yep. Yep. Fine.
Okay, great man. Fine. Now, suppose this is my information, okay? And now you can have one information. Suppose this entire project is of my data, taking my data and updating it into a portal. Okay. So everywhere in every file, what will be common in every file, they will be using my ID, employee ID. Suppose according to my employee ID only, they will be using. So what I need is I need a value. Basically, I need a variable which will hold my employee ID and it will be visible to this file also. If I create a new file also to that also, if I create a new file to that file also. But variable is this class, this file will work like a class. And if I create any variable in this class, if I create any variable in this class, it will be visible in this class only or in this file only. So think it like not class. Leave this oops concept for now. Okay. We are in the basic fundamental. So suppose you have created a variable, and defined the scope in this file only. Now, if I create a new file, I'll go to new and create a sequence, and then I create a new file. And when I create a new file, I will not see these information. But what if I have a variable called employee ID, and that employee ID should be visible to every file I have in this project. So how to do that one? Okay. So for that, I will go to data manager and we call it global variable. Global variable means which will be visible in entire project, in your entire project. In this project, it will be visible everywhere, either here, either in another file, either in any file, and it can be changed according to the sequence wherever you call it. Satish, make sense? Does it make sense for you?
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Okay, great. So how to create the global variable? You will go to data manager. Okay, this is where you will this is related to your data basically, where you will map everything will be mapped over here, the datas. Okay, so how to do that one? I have my uh, you know my information. My information will be like employee ID, right? So I can have this employee ID. I can give it as a constant, but I will not create a constant because if I give a variable value over here, my employee, I create a constant, nothing but a variable whose value will be fixed basically. So if I create a variable over here and I give it my employee ID, then this file will work only for me. So I want to create a variable whose employee ID variable can be accessible anywhere and changed from anywhere. Okay. So I'll go to this variable. I'll click on this new variable. Now, scope of variable, you can make it to global instead of main personal. This is main is in main file. You have two sequence. So this is your main file name. This is not your this main sequence name. This is your entire file name. It is giving you. It's saying that okay, if you create in main, it will be visible in main file. If you create globally, I can create it in global one. So I'll give it like this, right? I've scoped. Now I have created a variable over here in the global variable. I can see this variable, right? Okay. Let's, okay. Now the problem over here with the global variable is, well, now the problem with the global variable right now, why I don't know why it is, why we have this kind of problem. You can't change the name once you have created it. So when you are creating a global variable, make sure when you click on this new, give the name first. So I'm saying emp id. Okay. Now I'll go to type. It is string type, completely fine. Scope, definitely I'll change the scope and I will make it to global variable. Once you are done with the global variable, you will be able to see, I'll save it, and you will be able to see that global variable over here. Now, if I create a new file, new sequence, and I'm saying that get, sorry, this is get files of files of employee, and I'm creating this one. So the main contains my information, another one contains, I'm sorry, the files of employee, that whatever files related to the employee. Okay. Now, if I see over here in variable panel, I can't see my, definitely I can't see my variables, which I have created in main sequence. Yeah. But if I go over here and randomly, I'll create a sequence and I say, okay, get files, say get files. Okay. And I'll take a assign activity. Right now, I'm taking assign activity and I say employee ID. Suppose I want to just do employee, I want to use that one. So if I give employee ID, so I can see this variable over here. But if I want to give the first name variable, which was defined over here, or salary variable, if I want to define a salary variable, want to assign some value to the salary variable, and I take salary, it will be not visible to me because that variable is local variable to this file, and this employee is global variable. So it will be visible everywhere. I can give it a name, I can say, um, okay. Even over here, if I go and I say, okay, I want to assign value to that employee ID, so I can give, so this will be visible to everywhere. So you have two type of variables in the project. One is global variable and another one is called local variable. And in local variable, you can create variables from variable panel. And the second one, I'll show you in the project when we're creating the project, but definitely over here you can see. Okay, this is one. I'll take few seconds pause. If anyone has any doubt related to global variable, how to create it and from where we have created or anything related to these things, please let me.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, if we create a global variable in the main file,
Hmm.
so then can we see the global variable in get files of employee also?
Yes, yes, yes. You are not creating uh, global variable in main file. You are creating global variable in the project. So that's why you can't create global variable from here, from variable panel, because variable panel interact with the present file. Right now my main file is open, means I'm on the main file. So this variable panel will be applicable to this main file. When I go over here, this variable panel will be applicable to this file. So if I create a variable, it will create a variable in this file.
No, sir, I was asking if we can go to data manager of get
Hmm.
files of employee.
Hmm.
Can we see there the global? So we can't see the global variable there, no?
In this one,
Yes, sir.
okay, you are saying you have created the global variable. You can't see the global variable over here.
Yes, sir. Yes, I was
Okay,
saying like
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not visible over here. It should be basically, but I don't know why they haven't make it like that. So you have created your global variable from this main file. That's why it is visible over here. You are saying, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now my variable is also not visible over here.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Sometimes it is not visible, sir.
Huh. So it's some I guess some issue with your files, not your with your files. You have some issue with your UiPath basically. You can say this
Oh,
can be a bug, but when you create a global variable, it should be visible to, kind of to everywhere. So once it is created, I don't know why it is not visible. It's very strange. Okay, sometimes it's visible, sometimes it goes. So no worries. Okay. So you can create global variable, and when you are creating a global variable, as I said, it will be for your entire project. Okay. Now let's go over here. Why my global variable is not visible anywhere? Okay, let's check it later. Okay. Okay. Anyone has any other question? Okay. Now let's take. So till now, what we have created is we have created whatever we have created. We have created variable which holds single value, right? Now let's create a list. Okay. Let's create a list. Suppose I want to store my data or my files. Suppose I want to get files from one of the folder. I want to get files from one of the folder, or I want to store my employees few information. Okay, so I can create a variable over here. I'm creating a variable which will be visible over here, or I can go to this one and I'm saying that, okay, I'm saying that employees rating. Okay, so generally employee get rate on the 5 4 5 criteria. So I'm creating employee rating and I'll creating a list. So over here I can't see the list. Okay, now what I need to do is when I'm creating a list, I'll create list. And as I said, when I'm creating a list, first thing it will ask me, okay, first thing it will ask me what type of list you want to create. Either it will be a number list, either it will be a string list, either it will be a double date or anything. So I'm going to create a list of integers because my rating, or I'm going to create a list of double because my rating can be 2.5, 1, 7, like this. Okay. So I'm creating a list of this one and I'll click on OK. So the main difference between, okay, always remember that if maybe okay, always remember there are two type of variable, as I said, primitive, non-primitive. There are two steps when you are defining and assigning values. Here, you will define, then assign. But in non-primitive, first you will define the name, type of that variable. Then what you will do, you will initialize the variable. Initialize the variable means you will create an object of that class which you are trying to access. So I'm trying to access the list class. So I will be creating the object or list class. And then after that, you will add the information, or we can say assign the information. Okay. Here also, this is list is non-primitive variable. So first thing, what I will do, I'll say, okay, I have created a variables. When I created a variables and said, oh, sorry, wait. I can right click and delete. Okay. So I have created employee rating. I defined the variable type. This is my variable type. Then I went over here and then I say, oh, you know what? In default value, or over here, I can go here, take a assign, and I'm assigning basically initializing this. So I'll say employee rating. And I can just click on this double. I'm assigning the value. You just have to do one thing. You have to value to save what I want to save over here. As I said, first define, second initialize. So I'll go new. This is nothing but a list. So I'm initializing it of string. So I said this is nothing but a list of string. Now you say, okay, initialization, as I said, defining is done. Initialization is also done. We have initialized it. I said just fetch a list class, assign it to this one, fetch a list class of string. Okay, so fetched a list class and created an object and assigned it to this employee rating. Now I have to assign values, assign the actual values. So now I'll say from, and I can make it like this. So from this one, I'm gonna give, oh, this is nothing but I'm gonna give 5, 7, uh, 12, maybe like this, right? Okay, so I have this, the value is encapsulated with a property type integer to string. Okay, this is, oh, I'm sorry. This is double. Okay, from double, right. Now this is 7.5. Oh, how the rating can go from 12? No, the rating is 10. Okay. So suppose these are some ratings. I can make it 7, comma 6. So this is how you can define your another type of variable, which is non-primitive variable. So whenever you get a variable or whenever you think of a variable, always remember first thing, name, second thing, type, third is scope. When you're talking about scope or type, then remember what it is, whether it is saving a single value, whether it is saving a multiple value. If it is saving a single value, it will be primitive. If it is saving an multiple values, it's a non-primitive, driven collection basically. And if it is collection, then always remember you have to do three things. In single, you just define and assign value. Over here, now I have defined the variable. Now I want to assign the values to this one. I'll go to assign. This is my personal information. So if I try to search salary over here, I can't find. Even if I make SALARY, exact name of my variable, I can't find it. If I say full and first name, I can find first name and first final mark, I can find it. So first name, suppose I'm saying that, okay, I can find it over here. If I go over here and assign it over here, another one, the final marks, put it like this. And my final marks, what is the value? It's a double type, so I can make it 77.4. Now I go over here, assign. In this one, I can assign it, and I will give my salary over here. And this is a little bit, oh, what is this? Salary is integer or double? Oh, I have to go to my professional. Double. Okay. So this is how it works, right? Now, if I go to get file information, I can see the list over here. So these are the type of variable which you do. Once you have the single digit variable, single, not digit, but single value variables, it's a primitive. What you have to do, define it. First, define it, give the information of that variable and assign the value. If you have non-primitive, the collection, you can go, you have to define it, then you have to create a you know create a instance of it, and after that give a value. Similarly, if you have a dictionary, suppose I'm creating a dictionary, or I'm saying that employees info, right? Employee info, and it's a dictionary, suppose, and I'm not able to find it over here, so I'll go over here. Definitely I have to go right. By my dictionary, I found it on ARY. And as I know, this is some type of things will be there definitely, so I can find it. So in dictionary, you know that there is a key and value pair. These are the variable types, right? Collection of variable types. So I can have string type of key, and the values can be object, and an object type of variable can store any type of value, right? It can be integer, it can be string, it can be, when I don't know what kind of value I can get, I'll put it object. Okay, don't worry about that dictionary. When we will be in for the dictionary, we will have a completely separate lecture for it. Okay, define dictionary, because in RE framework we store variables as dictionary variables in dictionary. Okay, so don't worry about it. So this is, suppose this is your variable, and this is, you can see, this is nothing but a collection. It's a collection of, dictionary is nothing but a collection of different values, right? So first thing what I need to do is I have to initialize this dictionary. So I say I have employee info dictionary, and I need to initialize this. So I'll do new dictionary of string, comma, object. So this is doing nothing but creating a blueprint of that class, dictionary class, whose key will be of string type and value will be of object type, and imposing it in this variable, saying that, okay, now from now onward, your structure will be look like this. So it's fine. Now, after that, you can go and you can assign the values. You can say that, okay, what is my employee type? I'll say, okay, my employee info. And in my employee info, I'm adding a new keyword. I'm saying that name, and I'm giving a value to it. And I'm saying that Maninder. Oh, I don't know what happened to this one. Okay. Now again, I'm going to assign, I'm gonna create in this employee info, I'm gonna give employee info, and I'm gonna give employee ID, right? And I'm gonna give this EMP ID, sorry, EMP ID to this. Okay. So I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna assign values to this. So when you have collection, as I said, when you have collection, you have to first initialize that variable, and second, then you will be assigning values to it. So these are the basics of variables in UiPath. See, everywhere, wherever you will uh, you know see the projects, the bigger project, you might be thinking, oh, how the bigger projects looks. The bigger project, the only problem we get in bigger projects most of the time is related to variable. Either the scope of variable, the variable is not defined, the variable name is not good, variable type is not good. This is one of the problem whenever you will be creating a variable. Okay, so this is your a small section of variables. So if anyone has any doubt related to variable for now, please go ahead and ask your question. Nikhil, all good, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Satish, all good?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So you are working, Satish? You are working professional?
Yeah.
So which
I'm from
company?
for Nokia Chennai.
Nokia.
Yeah.
Oh, Nokia. Oh my God. You're still working for the company. Means the company is in market, it's doing good now.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Once Nokia was uh the phone giant, na? Everyone want to have Nokia.
Actually, it's operation related domain, not for product manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, yeah, man. Means mm, what is the difference basically in this one?
Actually, we are monitoring the
Okay,
abroad
okay.
sites.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. Okay. So all good, right? What's your shift timing?
Morning 6 to 2 o'clock.
Same. Same goes with me. I have to
Sorry.
log in at same goes with me. I have to log in at 6 o'clock in the morning and
Oh,
check
okay.
till 3 o'clock. I'm working and like meeting. I have a lot of meetings, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here,
nice.
here only the 8 hours working hours.
Huh, I have 9 hours of working hours in this.
Yeah. Apart from the other company, it's going to 9 to 10 hours. Will continue the shift timing, but
Okay,
it's here only for 8 hours.
nice. Yeah, that's great. Okay, yes. Sudhu is asking. Sudhu said, can we can we call a global variable defined in a project be used or called in other project? No, no, no. No, Sudhu, you can't. If you have defined like employee ID I have defined over here, I can't, access that variable in another project. It's like variables will be created on the project level. It won't be created on, on the studio level. It will be like in this project you have created, in the other project you can't use it. Okay, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Sudhu. Okay, cool, my friend. Sudhu. Yes. I'm still thinking. Cool. Now, anyone else? Anyone has any other doubt? Please let me know. If you don't have doubt, then good. Now I can see over here. You can see this global variable. Why I was not able? Okay. Uh, Abhishek, you can see your global variable over here in this. You just have to, because these were kind of grouping. I was marked it like this, so your global variable will have to, you know, group it together like this. So you can see your global variable.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
great. Anyone has any other doubt? Okay. If you don't have doubt, guys, this is a global variable. I wanted to discuss today a very important with you guys about the timing. Okay, so let me stop the recording and then we can discuss, and then you guys can carry on with your weekend. Right, just pause and stop the recording.